Hey guys, what's up? This is NGS and welcome to Veda. Veda stands for Vlog Every Day in April, and this is day 3. So one of the cool things I really love about doing Veda is that it gives me the opportunity to, I guess, be a little bit more laid back with you guys, be a little bit more relaxed, and we can, record videos from some pretty crazy camera angles just like this one. I mean, we were in the car, we're over here, we're in the living room, so that's another great thing about the Samsung Galaxy Note 4 is like you have phone cameras with front-facing cameras that crank out quality in 1080p, 1440p. So it's just fantastic. And no, that is not an endorsement for the phone whatsoever. It's so good to have a great Samsung phone because, as you guys know, the last one I had, the Samsung Infuse back in 2011, not too many pleasant experiences with that one. It was, to put it point blank, I went from a Samsung Infuse to an iPhone 4, and yeah, the supposed downgrade was not much of a concern for me. The iPhone 4 lasted me a hell of a lot longer than the Galaxy Infuse, whatever. But today, what I want to talk to you guys about is this game, Bloodborne. You guys know I finally got Bloodborne in. I was supposed to get it about a week ago. Stop it. I know what one of y'all are going to do. Just stop it. I had to stop myself too. I was supposed to get the game about a week ago, and things didn't work out with the shipping. But I've got a chance to play Bloodborne over the past, see, literally this is as creative as we can get as the camera falls in every way. I got a chance to play Bloodborne over the past day or two. I haven't had too much time to get into it. To put into perspective for you guys, I'm still like within the first 3 bosses. I haven't gotten anything farther than that. However, there is something that I want to talk about regarding the game and just in general, the media itself and the perception behind Bloodborne and just gamers alike. I want to talk about difficulty in games, modern game difficulty. You know, for a while, we've seen a lot of people talk about these games like Demon Souls, the Souls series in particular. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, and now Bloodborne. We've seen a lot of people saying that, these games are really difficult. They're so gosh darn hard. I've never played a really hard game like this before. And while that's, well and good for reviewers to comment on the game's difficulty, a lot of people have found it, they took it upon themselves to rate the game lower because they find it so difficult that it hinders the game experience from them. Like they're playing the game and it's just so hard for them that they literally cannot progress through the game and they can't enjoy it. It can't be enjoyable to them because of how difficult it is. And I've been seeing that a lot for Demon Souls. I've been seeing that a lot for Bloodborne, and it's just something that kind of irritates me. Now, I'm not a person who really puts too much stock into reviews. I'm actually a person who's kind of tired right now. I just woke up from a nap, but I am still tired. The groggy feeling you get. I'm not a person who puts too much stock in reviews, especially nowadays with how, a lot of people say that, reviewers aren't paid off by this company or that. Do not sit here and deny to yourself that they aren't, considering with all the stuff that we've learned in the past year or so. I'm not a person who cares too much about reviews, but I do use some of these early reviews as like to get a general gauge of how people perceive the game. And when I see somebody saying that it took them 12 hours to beat the first boss in Bloodborne, that goes to show you their actual skill in gaming. Now, this isn't a video to damage control about Bloodborne and its difficulty, no. This is a video to talk about difficulty in games and how I think that as a whole, people have been, excuse my friends, they've pussied out when it comes to game difficulty. Because if you were to compare something like the Souls games that are supposedly really, really, really hard, to games that we played like 3 generations ago, to games on the Super NES, to games on the Genesis, to games, heck, even on the PS1 and the N64, it would fit right at home. So I don't see why people are honestly complaining about it, because what I think has happened in the industry nowadays is that because it's trying to be more open and inclusive to a lot of non-gamers, they feel like they have to, I don't want to say dumb down the difficulty of the games, because that's not right to say in some cases. I just think they're trying to be they're trying to make it more accessible to people and streamline, which is perfectly fine, because if you're comparing the difficulty from Demon Souls to Bloodborne, yes, there is a slight difficulty decrease, but the game is still challenging in a lot of other ways. But to target these games as so difficult that you have to negatively review them, I find funny, because when in gaming have we literally gotten so angry about the game and say it sucks just because we're not good at it? I know people are going to say, oh, you're one of those people that say you just got to get good at the game. Well, in some cases, yeah, you just have to get good at the game, because why do games have to be walk in the parks? Why do we have to sit there and have our hand held throughout the entirety of the game? I thought that the reason why we get into some of these games is to go into a different world and invest so much time and effort, and we want to see the fruits of our labor, the amount of time that we put into a game. We want to see the great things that happen because of it. And when you do something in a game like Dark Souls or Demon Souls, when you complete a boss, it is so much more satisfying than defeating, a level on Call of Duty veteran mode. Like even something like World at War, which was a bitch to get through on veteran mode. Even something like that is just nowhere near comparable, because that's a different level of skill than playing something like the aforementioned games. Like the games that required skill to beat them. And penalties back in the day were a lot more gruesome than they are now. Back in the day where you really didn't have too many checkpoints. Back in the day where if you died, you lost a life. And if you lost all your lives, the game started over from the beginning. Granted, you're comparing different genres when it comes to certain things, how one is going to have more losses than another, but it just goes to show you that when we were younger and we were playing these games, yes, they were frustrating to us, but it also got us to get better at the game. It also got us to spend time with the game and not just whine, bitch, and complain. I think that for the most part, everybody out there is just looking for the game that they can just, pass on by for like 15 to 20 hours and have a great experience out of it. But if you're not putting any time or effort in whatsoever, what are you getting out of the game? What, are you looking at the art design? That's cool and everything. I love the art design in Bloodborne. Are you listening to the music? Okay, that's cool. It comes with a soundtrack. But what about the satisfying gameplay aspect of it? You don't just want to run through a game and play it and just be like, oh yeah, man, that game was just awesome. I really didn't have to put any effort into whatsoever. And I don't get what's going on in gaming. This isn't a video to say that, all games have been dumbed down and they shouldn't be dumbed down. This is a video just to put it into perspective to some of the people out there who say gaming is so hard. I'm not necessarily saying that gamers are weak if they can't beat X boss in X game. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that if you are in the media and you are saying that this game is just so hard for you, and you are supposedly a person who plays, hundreds of games a year, it's just maybe this is just an eye opener for the viewer base, the people who listen to that person and consider that they have a credible opinion. If they're a person who's known to be reviewing games and they're saying that this game is not good because it's hard, you can call out other issues of a game whatsoever. But if you're complaining about the difficulty of the game, saying it's just too hard for me, like, seriously, it's just get good, because when did you start gaming? That's the thing I got to question a lot of people. I mean, I started gaming back when, back in the N64 days. I mean, my dad had bought us a Super Nintendo, but I really didn't play too much. It wasn't until like the N64 where I started playing a lot of games. And once I got a PS2, I went back and I played a lot of the old school games on the NES and the Super NES. And, just from there, I started to see like the difference in gaming compared to now. It's just not comparable. I mean, of course, you still have the gems out there that actually reward you learning the game, but I just think things nowadays are just more about giving people a frustration-free experience for them to beat it as quickly as possible. You know, that might not be a problem for a lot of people. I mean, some of my favorite games are what people would think kind of easy or accessible, but they're still great experiences. My main issue is that you shouldn't, you know, downvote a game just because it gives you a challenge and it makes you learn the game. Anyway, what do you guys think of that? I'm NGS signing off for Veda Day 3. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you tomorrow.